The air raid sirens wailed through the night. I clutched my mother's hand as we ran to the basement of our apartment building in Sarajevo. I was 18 years old in 1992, and my life was about to change forever. I never thought I'd leave my home this way, I tell people when they ask about my journey. One suitcase, a few photographs, and the clothes on my back. That's all I brought from my previous life. My name is Ivana. I grew up in a middle-class family in Bosnia and Herzegovina, dreaming of becoming a doctor. Then war tore through my country, shattering those dreams along with countless lives. Now, at 47, I stand in American courtrooms fighting for people who, like me, had to flee their homes. The memory of crossing the border still feels fresh, the knot in my stomach, the fear that we might be turned back, the weight of leaving everything behind. We had no idea what awaited us, only that staying meant possibly dying. We arrived in America in the dead of winter. The Washington, D.C. air bit through our thin European coats. The city seemed impossibly large, impossibly loud, impossibly foreign. I spoke broken English from high school classes, but not enough to understand the rapid-fire American accent. "Can you help me fill this form?" I asked a woman at the Refugee Assistance Center. She looked at me blankly. I tried again, slower this time. She nodded and took my papers. Those first months tested everything in me. We lived in a one-bedroom apartment that cost $750 per month, astronomical to us then. 3 family members sharing a space meant for 1 or 2. I slept on a pull-out couch in the living room for 2 years. My parents found work quickly, my father cleaning office buildings, my mother as a home health aide. Both had been professors in Bosnia. I watched them come home with aching backs and calloused hands, never complaining, just grateful for the safety and the paycheck. I worked as a cashier at a grocery store during the day and took English classes at night. The manager would get frustrated when I couldn't understand customers. Some customers would roll their eyes or speak loudly as if volume could bridge the language gap. I'd come home and cry into my pillow, wondering if we'd made a mistake leaving Bosnia. One night, after a particularly hard shift, I saw a flyer for community college scholarships for refugees. Something stirred in me. Back home, I'd been a top student. Here, I was just another immigrant struggling to be understood. I applied. Got accepted. The scholarship covered about 60% of my tuition. I worked extra shifts, cutting back sleep to 5 hours a night. My first class was American government. I sat in the front row, recording every lecture and playing them back at home, pausing every few seconds to look up words I didn't understand. My professor pulled me aside after I turned in my first paper. "Your ideas are excellent," she said, "but your English needs work." I nodded, fighting back tears. "Come to my office hours," she added. "I'll help you." For the next semester, I went to her office every week. She corrected my grammar, taught me idioms, recommended books. Sometimes she'd buy me coffee when she saw how tired I looked. Small kindnesses that kept me going. 3 years later, I graduated with an associate's degree. Then came a scholarship to complete my bachelor's at George Washington University. I studied international relations, thinking of my homeland, still reeling from conflict. Law school wasn't part of my plan. The idea came after I volunteered at a legal clinic helping refugees with paperwork. I saw families like mine, disoriented and desperate, facing a system they couldn't navigate. I saw lawyers speaking for those who couldn't yet speak for themselves. "You should consider law school," the clinic director told me after watching me help a Somali family understand their asylum application. "We need people who understand both sides of the refugee experience." Law school cost $45,000 per year. An impossible sum. I applied anyway, and to my shock, received a partial scholarship. I worked 2 part-time jobs and took out loans for the rest, ignoring the mounting debt that kept me awake at night. The first year nearly broke me. The language of law felt like learning English all over again. I studied 16 hours a day, falling asleep with case books as my pillow. My classmates came from wealthy families, had gone to prep schools, spoke with confidence I couldn't fake. In class, I'd know the answer but stay silent, afraid my accent would betray me. A study partner changed that. Lisa, a third-generation Japanese American, noticed me studying alone in the library every night. "Join our study group," she said simply. When I hesitated, she added, "Your perspective is valuable." In that group, I found my voice. We'd debate cases late into the night. They'd ask what Bosnian law would say about certain issues. They valued my experiences, and slowly, I began to as well. I graduated in the middle of my class, not the top as I'd always been in Bosnia, but an achievement that still fills me with pride. The job hunt that followed tested my resolve again. I'd go to interviews where firms claimed to value diversity, then watch their faces change when they heard my accent. After 27 rejection letters, a small immigration firm took a chance on me. The pay was half what my classmates were making at corporate firms, barely enough to cover my loan payments and rent. The office was in a strip mall between a pizza place and a laundromat. But the clients, they were people I understood. My first asylum case involved a family from Syria. The father had been a surgeon, the mother a teacher. Now they worked in restaurants and lived in a cramped apartment, just like my parents had. Their children struggled with English, just as I had. In preparing their case, I showed them my own refugee ID card, now worn and faded. "I sat where you're sitting," I told them. "This is hard, but you can build a life here." The day the judge granted their asylum, the mother hugged me so tightly I could barely breathe. "You gave us a future," she whispered. Those words changed something in me. I realized that my journey, the pain of leaving home, the struggle to learn a new language, the years of doubt and hard work, had given me tools no law school could teach. I understood the night terrors that came with fleeing violence. I knew the humiliation of having your credentials dismissed, your experience erased. 15 years later, I run my own practice focused on refugee and asylum law. I've handled over 500 cases, testified before Congress on immigration reform, and taught immigration law as an adjunct professor. My office employs 3 other attorneys who were once refugees themselves. The work isn't easy. Immigration law changes with each administration. Courts are backlogged. Many clients can't pay full fees. I've sat with families as they received deportation orders, held children as they said goodbye to parents. But I've also witnessed incredible resilience. Former clients now own businesses, have graduated from college, bought homes. Some become citizens and bring me to their oath ceremonies. One former client is now a law student herself. My parents eventually returned to Bosnia after retirement, rebuilding our family home brick by brick. I visit them twice a year, feeling the strange pull of 2 places I call home. In Bosnia, I'm too American. In America, I'm always from somewhere else. This in-between place used to feel lonely. Now I see it as a gift. Standing with one foot in each world allows me to bridge gaps, to translate not just language but experience. When I represent a client, I'm not just arguing law, I'm telling our shared human story of displacement and rebuilding. Last month, I spoke at a high school career day. A girl with a hijab approached me afterward. "My family came from Afghanistan 3 years ago," she said. "I want to be a lawyer like you, but my English isn't good enough."